So we have another subprime loan crisis again, and I think it's time we reread Michael Lewis's The Big Short. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. This is Pradeep and you're watching Vlog of Note. In this video, we're going to be talking about the US subprime auto loan crisis in 2023. Here's everything you need to know. Will it blow up? Let's get started. So first of all, usual disclaimer here, I'm not a SEBI registered investment advisor or a certified financial planner. If you want to make any investments, you should do your own market research. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about The Big Short. So The Big Short is a book by Michael Lewis. It came out in 2010 and I highly recommend you read it. It spent 28 weeks at the top of the New York Times bestseller list and it was made into a movie in 2015. It follows the events that led up to 2008, the financial crisis. It follows one Dr. Michael Burry, perhaps you've heard of him if you've been investing long enough, and his purchase of credit default swaps, which were his attempt to short the US mortgage-backed securities market, which blew up, and therefore he made $700 million for his investors in 2 years. Not bad. Now it looks like 15 years later, we might have another subprime auto loan crisis this time. Will it blow up? How big will it be? And what sectors should you avoid? Find out at the end of this video. Let's jump in. So in the first part of this video, let's understand the Great Recession of 2008, as it's fondly called. It was, in the words of the IMF, the biggest economic meltdown since the Great Depression of 1929, also in the US. Kind of a pattern here, don't you think? The Great Recession was caused by three things. First of all, people assumed that housing prices in the US would never go down. Well, between 2006 and 2008, the housing prices in the US went down by 20%. And on the 30th of December 2008, the Case-Shiller Index, which tracks housing prices in the US, fell by 18%, its biggest single-day drop in history. So yeah, that assumption turned out to be wrong. Secondly, people thought that subprime borrowers would not default on their loans. And well, the subprime default rate went up to 28% on mortgage loans. So yeah, that assumption also seemed to be wrong. Thirdly, because this is the US, they converted their mortgage loans into actual securities and sold them to investors, and people thought that those securities would never get re-rated. Well, the credit agencies in 2008 alone downgraded $1.9 trillion worth of mortgage-backed securities because essentially they were junk. So that assumption also turned out to be wrong. What happened because of the Great Recession? Well, Lehman Brothers, a 150-year-old investment bank, went kaput. Also, American International Group, better known as AIG, which today makes $52 billion in annual revenue, received a $180 billion bailout from the US government. And Bear Stearns, another investment bank, was actually folded down and sold at a discount to JP Morgan Chase. I know what you're thinking. Well, all of these are big investment banks. What happened to the little guy? Well, US household net worth in 2008 alone went down by 11.2 trillion United States dollars. So obviously, overall, the Great Recession was incredibly harmful to a lot of people. The only good thing that came out of the Great Recession was the CPFB, or the Consumer Protection Finance Bureau in the United States, which was established in 2011 and is today headed by Rohit Chopra. It has an annual operating budget of $596 million. The first part thus ends in 2011, which is good because the second part starts in 2012. In 2012, I have to introduce you to a company called Carvana. Perhaps you've heard of them. They are the largest used car online retailer in the US, and they were started in 2012. They have these giant vending machines, multi-story car vending machines. They have 32 of them in the US. They went public in 2017, and in 2021, they had $12.8 billion in annual revenue. If there's one fact that you have to know about Carvana, you have something called the Fortune 500 list. You have Carvana becoming the third fastest company to be added to that list after Amazon and Google. So you had Amazon and Google or Alphabet and then Carvana. What's the problem with Carvana, you ask? Well, their business model is all wrong. They make money in two separate ways. One, on the spread between the price at which they buy a used car and the price at which they sell the used car. Also, they make a lot of their money and gross profit in the form of financing and insurance on these used cars. Take for example the most recent quarter. They tell us that they sold 102k cars in the retail category, but they made $3k in terms of gross profit per unit sold. However, the gross profit has a portion of it which has the wholesale category and also has a significant portion of it which comes from financing and insurance. Yeah, I know it's weird, and they're also burning through a lot of cash. What's the effect of Carvana's business problems? In the last 1 year, their stock has gone down by 99%. In August of 2021, they were at about $370 and now they're less than $5. Yahoo Finance has rated them the worst company of 2022 and now they're looking for bankruptcy. So our second part of this video ends at the end of 2022. The third part of this video starts exactly 4 days later. On the 4th of January 2023, a company called Credit Acceptance Corporation was sued. What is Credit Acceptance Corp? Well, they were started in 1972 and they are one of the largest companies in the US in the field of auto finance to subprime borrowers. Well, they were sued on the 4th of January by the CPFB, the same CPFB which was set up after the 2008 crisis, along with the New York Attorney General for their unethical loan practices. Apparently, this company was setting up people to fail in their debt repayment. In the state of New York, you have a usury limit of 25%. This company was lending at over 35%. So what's the effect of this lawsuit? In the last 1 year alone, Credit Acceptance Corp's stock, they are publicly traded in the US, has gone down by over 50%. And in the first week of January, at the time of this lawsuit, they lost over 17% in their market value. So you have the perfect storm of events here. You have the 2008 financial crisis, you have Carvana potentially going bust, and you have Credit Acceptance Corp trying to recreate history here. At the start of this video, I asked you 3 questions. Will the auto loan sector result in a crisis? Well, in October of 2022, you had the delinquency rate on auto loans go up from 3.7% to 5.1% in a space of 1 year. So yes, this crisis will play out in 2023. Will this crisis be as big? Well, the auto loan balances in the US currently stand at about $1.5 trillion. So this crisis will not be as big as 2008. And what sectors should you avoid? It's obvious, right? Banks and auto. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. As always, please go over to YouTube, subscribe to the Vlog of Note channel, ring that notification bell so that you never miss a video, and I will see you guys in the next episode.